Hi YouTube, it's August 10th and it's been a month since I've given you a tour of my garden, so I'm going to show you what it looks like for this month. For the house here we have our blueberries, which haven't done a whole lot of change for this month. However, the rosemary is starting to grow a little bit better, and when I was weeding the other night I found some eggplant volunteers. I'm not sure if they're gonna flower in time before the winter, fall, cold weather hits. There was a tomato here I didn't have the heart to pull because it just looks so healthy. And here's another eggplant baby there. And the reason these eggplants popped up is because this was compost that we pulled out of our compost pile, and obviously some of the seeds didn't die, but that's all right. Maybe we'll get some fruit from it. Our indoor lemon plant we put out in the summer, and you can see it has one lemon right there, and then we have some more lemons growing. This one looks really scrawny, but it's produced very well. And then our orange tree is doing amazing. It's covered in oranges, and those won't come ripe until we bring it in this fall. The two vegetable gardens near the house have really gotten overgrown and out of control, but that always happens with my tomatoes. In the front here, the marigolds are finally starting to flower along with my zinnias, and I've been picking them for bouquets in my house. And there's the row of tomatoes. They're huge, just starting to ripen up. Not too many yet. You can see there's one right in there and a few more coming. We do seem to have some type of blight. On the other side I have some more bushy marigolds, some cosmos. You can see my basil has started to flower. I have been using it. I'm down to one thing of lettuce here, and the eggplants are starting to flower and hopefully will produce shortly. Parsley is doing very well. I have not been harvesting that much because I use that primarily for my salsa, and my tomatoes aren't ready yet, so we're still waiting. The pepper plants are a little bit behind this year, and I think that's just due to the fact that we had a cold start to the year, and then when everything started flowering we had 90+ degree temperatures, and I lost a lot of the flowers that came. So I'm toying with the idea of putting some Epsom salt spray on it to see if I can get some more flowers out of these plants. The tallest peppers here are just my bell peppers, and the shorter plants here are jalapeno, and they do have some peppers on them. It's just not like other years where I have an abundance of them. There's some bells there. And then finally over here I have Italian sweet peppers, and they're not doing really that good. This is a new brand for me. These are scallop yellow squash plants, and I've never had a squash up here, and it's doing fabulous. Let's see if we can find some yellow squash in there. Let's see. There's one baby squash right there, not quite ready to harvest, and beautiful flower with a bee in it. Let's leave them alone. At the ends of my garden I have some flowers here, and this is that mystery flower which I still don't know what it is, and it's just getting ready to blossom. I have more zinnias, some cosmos, and then that tall flower is going to be a sunflower, and that's what Charity planted. And then on the other side we have a volunteer sunflower, compliments of feeding the birds this winter. And over here we have cosmos, some zinnias, but they're not doing well. And then something's happening to this plant. We've already lost one plant. These are perennials, but something is just killing it off right at the bottom, so I don't know what's up with that. Up front I still have some more zinnias starting to flower, and the mums are budded but not flowering yet. My black-eyed Susans and daisies have been flowering like crazy. And then over here I have some canna lilies, and these babies have been having beautiful hummingbirds on them, and that's pretty much the reason why I grow them, is because I love watching the hummingbirds. The echinacea here by the chicken coop has been doing great, along with Charity's sunflowers. In fact, we've had a lot of goldfinches on these flowers over the past week or two. There are all of our friendly chickens looking for some weeds for me to donate. It's been really dry the last month, so the plants aren't doing as well as they could be, But right here in that front row are my squash and zucchini, which are producing fairly well considering the heat. And then on the trellises I have my cucumber plants, and they are just starting to produce. You can see there's a little cucumber there, and there's another cucumber in there. And actually I need to pick my cucumbers this morning. Over there you see one of my little pumpkins, and I don't know if I can, there's another starting to turn orange pumpkin in there, but he's not ready yet. This first crop of bush beans are just starting to produce their second flowering period, and I'm just waiting for those to finish up here. You see more cucumbers doing very well. On the back wall there are my pole beans just also starting to produce. And yes, there are lots of weeds because I haven't had as much time to work in my garden. Here is the second planting of my beans. They seem to be doing quite well. And then I have my lettuce, beets, and carrots in that row. You can see my Swiss chard. The spinach that was behind them is no longer, it bolted. I pulled that out, fed it to the chickens. And over here is my kale. You can see I have the Russian flat leaf kale, and then I have some of the curly leaf kale that actually wintered overnight. Behind me I have another one of those scallop squashes, and you can see I need to pick some of those squash plants. My cauliflower is almost done. I have a head that I need to pick today, and then I'm not sure this one's gonna produce anything because it looks kind of tiny. Right next to that, I just planted some lettuce right here, and then here will be a row of beets in both of those rows. These are turnips with a few weeds mixed in, and some bok choy and other greens not doing that well. Last month I showed you that I had just planted my spinach and pak choy here. Unfortunately, it's not doing very well despite my watering. That's what size my spinach is after a month. Not very good. And here's a pak choy here, and of course naturally lots of weeds. Nothing has changed with the cherry trees or the peach tree, and our volunteer something from the compost has gotten quite massive. However, there is some wild creature that likes to eat the one thing that it was producing. I'm not sure if that was a skunk or a raccoon or what it was, but something's eating that. That's fine with me as long as he stays out of my garden. Peach tree and pear tree got a little bit of a haircut because they had gotten really tall and overgrown. So I gave him a quick snip. And then this cherry tree, nothing much is happening with that. But the grapes seem to be doing very well. This also needs a haircut. I just haven't gotten around to it. But here are some of the grapes, and they're looking really good. And they don't look like they have too much of that disease, but that's gonna need to get trimmed or else they will get some disease. And that's pretty much everything that I have growing in my garden. I hope you enjoyed this garden tour, and stay tuned for our September garden tour. And I invite you to watch and subscribe to this channel for our large family vlogs, where you can see my gardening every day and the produce that comes out of it. Thanks for watching.